So our next speaker is Greg Reinhardt with RR Street. Greg, you told me your title and I've already forgotten it. It's
I am the Technical Services Manager for
Technical
RR Street.
Services Manager with RR Street. Greg, take it away up top. Thank you very much.
Just a little background on RR Streets. The company was formed back in 1876, and 3 years ago, RR Streets also made an acquisition of ADCO, which was founded in 1908, and also with the Laidlaw. So now we operate the brands RR Streets, Puritan, ADCO, and Laidlaw in the dry cleaning industry. And K-Tech Solvent was a joint venture between Bardol and FMB Corporation out of Italy, which manufactures dry cleaning machines. And we actually took the opportunity to distribute that in the North American markets. It's a Class 3 non-halogenated solvent developed in Europe, actually in France, in conjunction with the FMB Group and Bardol. It's commercially introduced in April 2016. I actually did some R&D on it back with Union in Atlanta back in February of 2016. It is approved as a drop-in solvent for Fibermatic, Real Star, and Union machines, and it's available exclusively through our industrial division and our distributors. As far as the benefits, it's got a KB value very similar as you see to all the alternative solvents, which we're trying to reach that point of being comparable to what the industry expects, and we're at 75. It works very, very well on greases, oils, and water-soluble stains, and the glycol content is what actually works with all the alternative solvents on reducing water-soluble stains. The unique thing about this particular product is it is 90% hydrocarbon instead, and the ratios are, it's 3% of an orange terpene or orange oil, and then basically 7% propylene glycol. As far as efficiency, we can work with shorter run times than what we normally do with our hydrocarbon solvent. As most of you do know, that Streets has worked with the DF2000 from Exxon for many years, and it's substantially shorter than those particular run times that we see with your typical hydrocarbons. Also reduces your pre-spotting, and K-Tech's, because of its nature and gentleness, as you see with all of them, have low wrinkling and fabric distortion rates, which make it very pleasant fabric to use in finishing and cleaning. The gentle cycles works very, very well with a lot of woven and non-woven type fabrics and knits and different types, even some of your satins that can have been known to distort with some solvents. You see very little shrinkage and distortion, and once again, the dry cycle. Dry times and total cleaning times, typically I'm looking for 58 to 67 minutes, depending on the type of garment, type of machine, conditions, and of course the maintenance of the operator certainly varies how those times can vary itself. And of course it's good for business. I won't use the word odor even though it's typed here, and as I stated yesterday, every solvent that we see has a unique signature, identifiable by either the finished product or the solvent itself. There is, when it first comes out of the machine, a slight citrus smell that follows this product that does dissipate through finishing. Minimizes wear on fibers, which also gives us a like new finish and extends the life of the fabric, and also provides soft and pleasant texture to the garment and natural drape upon finishing. This here is a comparison chart where it just basically compares to the most popular solvents we see in the market at the time of introduction, and it just goes through, and you're welcome to have that. Anyone that would like more information on this, contact me. I'll give you my card, my email address, and I'll be glad to forward all this information to you. As far as some of the comparisons, we're just basically looking at the KB value. We also don't have any regulatory issues similar to PERC. What makes it less expensive sometimes is the high PERC taxes that are added on in most states, and it is comparably priced to what is sold in states and in Canada. And then also, like I said before, it has an improved water-soluble stain removal than PERC. As it compares to high-flash hydrocarbon, it has a higher KB value. Hydrocarbons relate between 26 and 27. It has improved water-soluble stain removal. That's because of the glycol ethers in the blend. and also with up to a 40% wash cycle time compared to regular hydrocarbon with this particular product. As far as signatures here, with the popularity of K4, in some we have been involved in some where there's certainly less pungent of an odor or less signature coming out of the machine, but once again, upon finishing, most of those signatures are dissipated. Significant reduction times virtually than what we've seen with K4. Also, the K-Tex also works uniquely where most steam pressures that I'm distilling at is between 24 and 36 pounds of steam, regardless of the size of the still. So where some of your hydrocarbons are working 40 to 45 to reach the temperatures and things like that and the boiling points, this particular solvent does reach it at lower steam pressures. And it also tied in with the lower cost of the solvent. And also with the K-Tex, you can work with anybody's particular products that are as far as additives or detergents that you work with the machine. So it's not going to be product specific to maintain the process or the integrity of the solvent. Also, there's no licensing fees, significantly reduced drying cycles versus your silicone solvents, higher KB value, and it handles water-soluble stains. And then the popularity of where you've seen with the Khaled Gen X and the Intense, it eliminates the glycol distillation issue because of the percentage of content. You don't have as much drag out as has been noted from some of these other blends, so you don't have to have a periodic boosting to the solvent, and which also allows for significant drying reduction times. But it is a similar cost to all the solvents out there. These are some of the example photos we do have. Of course, there's been no damage we've noted to beads or vinyls. The top one is actually similar to a bunker gear, but this is actually stuff that was actually taken in Alberta in some of the oil fields. These are overalls that are worn, and you notice that the reflectability and the cleanliness of the garment after running K-Tex is very well noted, and these are actual photos from here. And then right now, when this was made, there were about 70 installations. We're up over 113 or 100, somewhere between 113 and 123 total stores across U.S. and Canada. Knoxville, Tennessee was one. That's a small plant. Then we also do restoration work with it. This was a comment from someone in Memphis, Tennessee. And then one here in Edmonton was Mountain Spring Cleaners. So where she made a move to the K-Tex solvent in her testimony. Any questions about K-Tex? Yes, Sid.
I'll come, Sid, and I'll hobble over to you. Great. So keep in mind, if you've got some questions, observations, comments, we do have some time now to handle those. Sid?
Thank you. You mentioned that the odor, if there is an odor, there's a slight citric
It's a slight citrus smell.
Which dissipates in the finishing. Now, so the question I have is, will the presser or silk finisher find anything offensive while they're working to finish off the garment as a result of the dissipation?
I will say generally where some people have made a move over, say, from hydrocarbon to K-Tex, or we've had couple of situations where people have moved from K4 to K-Tex, or even we've done one or two from Green Earth to K-Tex. The biggest thing is noting that there's something different. Not necessarily that it's offensive, but it's different than it was a week before when we made the change over the weekend. Usually after 1 or 2 days of working with the product, it becomes more of a normalcy again, other than being different. Now we've just got a new signature that's coming there. The only time that I've actually known that it was noted was when you're doing garments with heavy shoulder pads, and I'm talking batted shoulder pads versus foam, because some garments use foam, and that breathes out and dissipates very readily with all alternative solvents and perk. But you get some batted shoulder pads because of the smaller machines, possibly overloading, maintenance on the machine as far as air filters and coils where you're restricting or having issues with maintenance on airflow. You don't get all the solvent completely out of the clothes. That pressure is going to smell it upon finishing. Whether they're on a Suzy application or a utility press with buck steam, they're going to get a head full of something if they don't take care of, as you say, good work practices.
Over here. Greg, in the beginning you mentioned that it was developed with a partnership between Bardol and the FMB group.
Yes.
Does that mean that it limits usage in just FMB machines, or
Yes,
can it be
there
used?
is a contractual agreement between Bardol and FMB that this product can only be sold to somebody that has a Real Star, Fibermatic, or a Union machine.
Thank you.
So if you do not own one, we cannot sell you the product. If you own any other brand of machine in the North America, we can't present you with this product, unfortunately.
I know most of the solvents are interchangeable with a hydrocarbon. Is this solvent interchangeable with a PERC machine or just a hydrocarbon?
No, this is a Class 3A solvent. So being a Class 3A solvent puts it into the classification of being non-flammable but combustible. So I could sit there, you know, and throw a match in this product, it wouldn't. That's what I mean. There is a difference between being a flammable solvent and a combustible solvent. And this product here, as most of your alternative solvents, do reach that point of being non-flammable but combustible. And as far as a drop-in solvent, let me clarify drop-in solvent. Because of the ratio of which this product is, let's say, like I said, 90% hydrocarbon, 7% propylene glycol ether, and 3% orange terpenes. If you had a 100-gallon machine and you only put 5 gallons of this solvent, would you actually see a benefit from putting 5 gallons of just this product into your machine? Probably not, because of the ratios. So normally what we have recommended is if somebody's going to make a move, just like they would with the Intense or any other, you'd like to go through a full maintenance workup, clean out the tanks, the solvent cooler, the coils, make sure your discs are clean, go through a complete decontamination product, and then you'll see the full benefit of any alternative solvent you're moving to.
Great. Any final comments, questions, observations, pithy remarks, over-the-top commentary, underlying silliness, anything anybody wants to engage in? If not, Greg, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And have a good trip home.